I used to always feel like everyone was watching me, and I couldn't figure out why until science revealed a terrifying truth. That feeling you get when you walk into a room and all eyes are on you, it's a lie your brain tells you. For years, I thought I was being judged every time I stumbled over a word or wore something slightly off. I remember in college, I tripped on a crack in the sidewalk, and I swore everyone saw it. I spent the whole week replaying that moment, convinced I was the center of some massive joke. Here's the thing. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect, and it's a cognitive bias that makes us think we're being observed way more than we actually are. In a 1999 study by Gilovich and Savitsky at Cornell, they had students wear a Barry Manilow t-shirt into a room full of strangers. The students estimated that 50% of people would notice the shirt, but only 23% actually did. That's less than half. Your brain multiplies attention by a factor of 2, and it's completely automatic. But here's the shocking part I didn't see coming. That 23% who noticed, they weren't judging. I interviewed a woman named Sarah who wore a bright red dress to a formal event and felt like everyone was staring at her flaws. She told me she spent the whole night avoiding eye contact. Later, her friend told her, "Everyone loved your dress. They thought you were so confident." The people who saw her didn't see a mess. They saw a woman owning the room. Her shame was invisible to everyone but herself. This brings me to the second, deeper layer. Why our brains do this. It's tied to our primal survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, being watched by the tribe meant potential danger, a threat to your status or safety. So your brain evolved to overestimate social attention as a protective mechanism. But in modern life, that same mechanism makes you feel like you're on stage 24/7, even when no one cares. The irony is, the very thing that kept our ancestors alive is now making us anxious and self-conscious. But what if I told you that this bias has a hidden superpower? Consider the story of Michael, a graphic designer who was terrified of presenting his work. He'd rehearse for hours, obsessing over every slide. One day, he accidentally sent a draft with a typo to a client. He braced for humiliation, but the client said, "This is brilliant. Let's just fix that one word." Michael realized that his audience wasn't dissecting his every mistake. They were focusing on the value he provided. That moment changed his entire approach to public speaking. Now here's the third and deepest insight. The spotlight effect doesn't just make you paranoid, it also limits your potential. When you believe everyone is watching, you play small. You avoid risks, you hide your true self, you stay in the shadows. But the people who break free from this bias are the ones who realize that the audience is actually rooting for you. They want you to succeed. Most people are so wrapped up in their own lives that they barely notice your stumbles. And the ones who do, they're usually empathizing, not judging. I'll never forget a study from Harvard Business School where they asked people to give a speech and then rate how nervous they looked. The speakers rated their own nervousness as a 7 out of 10, but the audience rated it as a 3. That's a gap of more than double. Your internal experience is invisible to others. They see a calm, competent person while you feel like a trembling mess. That gap is your freedom. So what does this mean for you? It means that every time you feel that spotlight burning, you have a choice. You can either shrink away from it, or you can step into it and realize that the light is not a laser of judgment. It's a warm glow of connection. The people around you are not critics. They're fellow humans navigating the same insecurities. When you mess up, they don't mock you. They take a breath of relief because they see their own humanity reflected in yours. But here's the cost of ignoring this truth. I've seen brilliant people quit their dreams because they thought everyone was watching. A friend of mine, a talented musician, stopped performing after one bad show. He was convinced the audience was laughing at him. In reality, they barely remembered his mistakes. He let a phantom spotlight steal his passion. Don't let that be you. The spotlight is an illusion, but the regret of not living fully is painfully real. The one truth I want you to remember is this: you are not the main character in everyone's story. You're a supporting actor in their lives, and that's a gift. It means you can stumble, you can be yourself, and no one is keeping score. The spotlight is a lie, but your freedom is real. If this hit home, subscribe and join me next time when I reveal why your brain makes you think everyone is smarter than you and how to stop comparing yourself to strangers. See you then. Follow for more mind-blowing psychology.